increase the pressure gradient between LA and LB, so that left ventricular and diastolic pressure remaining at 5 mm of mercury. Mean pressure rises gradually, which reaches around 25 mm of mercury when mitral area is around 1 cm square. Reduction of blood flow across mitral wall is observed, so that cardiac output, which was 3 liter per minute per meter square, falls to 2.5 liter per minute per meter square at mitral wall area around 1 cm square. There is a dependence of LV filling on LA pressure, and there is elevation of LA mean pulmonary venous LA mean pressure and pulmonary venous hypertension is there. According to this grading of severity in mitral stenosis, when mitral wall's area is more than 1.5, it is a mild mitral stenosis. It is 1 to 1.5, it is moderate mitral stenosis, and when it is less than 1, when it is less than 1, it is severe mitral stenosis. These are old guidelines. Currently, it is said that less than 1.5 also it is a severe mitral stenosis. Corresponding to mean gradient, which is less than 5 is mild, 5 to 10 is moderate, and more than 10 is severe mitral stenosis. And so, arterial systolic pressure is less than 30 is mild, 30 to 50 is moderate, and more than 50 is severe. Coming to hemodialysis of this condition, the main pathology of mitral stenosis occurs in diastole, so that we have to understand all phases of diastole in this condition. Diastole consists of five phases, which is isovolumetric relaxation, early filling, diastasis, arterial systole. There is some gradient between LA and LV in early filling phase and arterial systole phase, which is divided by E and A wave in LA pressure trace. In mitral stenosis, there is a persistent diastolic gradient between LA and LV, so that in the phase of diastasis also there is a persistent diastolic gradient in mitral stenosis, which is divided by diastolic flow murmur across the wall. Coming to pressure volume in this condition, there is a left shift curve to reduce cardiac output in this condition. There is a decrease in diastolic volume, which is preload. There is a decrease in ventricular and diastolic end systolic volume due to it, and there is a decrease in ventricular wall stress, that is afterload, so that curve is shifted downwards. The resultant will be there is a reduced area of this curve, so that there is a decreased cardiac output, and there is a left shifting of this curve, pressure volume. Coming to pathology of this condition, in mitral stenosis there is a obstruction to left atrial emptying, so that there is difficulty in LV filling, and there is a backward increasing LA pressure, which is changing LA function. This causes increasing pulmonary venous pressure, so that perivascular edema, and there is a reversal of pulmonary blood flow, which results in decreased pulmonary compliance and increased work of breathing. There is also increasing pulmonary artery pressure, which decreases the cardiac output with severe pulmonary hypertension. There is increased pulmonary vascular resistance also. There is, so that increase in right ventricular overload and tricuspid regurgitation is there. Coming to pulmonary hypertension, there are two types of pulmonary hypertension occurs in mitral stenosis. First is passive pulmonary hypertension, which is obligatory due to response in increased pulmonary capillary wedge pressure is around 10 to 12 mm of mercury in pulmonary vascular bed. This is a passive due to increasing LA pressure, and second is active pulmonary hypertension. In this active pulmonary, there is increase in pulmonary pressure more than 10 to 12. The mechanism of pulmonary hypertension is increased pulmonary venous pressure, which causes transudation of fluid, causes thickening and fibrosis of alveolar wall, and there is hypoventilation of lower lobes, and hypoxemia occur there, which is sensed by chemoradiation receptors in pulmonary veins. Pulmonary arterial vasoconstriction in this region supplying to this alveolar, and lower lobe perfusion decreases. This is a primary occurs initially in lower lobes. After that, this process eventually involves in middle and upper lobe. Anatomical changes in this condition requires medial hypertrophy, intimal proliferation, and fibrosis. same changes are known as second stenosis. In early disease, there is only 10 to 12 mm of mercury difference between pulmonary arterial and pulmonary venous pressures. When disease progresses, there is a decrease in cross-sectional area of pulmonary artery, so that pulmonary arterial pressure increases a lot compared to pulmonary venous pressure. This condition is called second stenosis. This sequelae of pulmonary hypertension, there is a right ventricular hypertrophy, there is functional TR and right ventricular failure. According to this hemodynamics, there are 4 stages. In stage 1, patient is asymptomatic at rest. Stage 2, symptomatic due to elevated LA pressure, so that patient has symptoms with exertion. Stage 3, increased pulmonary vascular resistance. Patient is relatively symptomatic or present as a low cardiac output state. Stage 4 is severe stenosis with extreme elevation of pulmonary vascular resistance and RV failure. When AF is developed in these patients of EMS, there is increasing heart rate and there is a decreasing diastolic filling pressure, elevates the transmittal gradient. Loss of atrial contribution to LV filling, which was normally contribution of LA contraction to LV filling is around 50%. In EMS, it increases to 25 to 30%, and this is lost in AF. And loss of AVM in M mode echocardiography and LA pressure tracing. Coming to LV dysfunction in patient with EMS, due to rheumatic myocardial factor, there is restriction of postobasal myocardium by scarred mitral apparatus. Abnormal interventricular motion due to RV overload, EF, and concomitant coronary artery disease and coronary embolization cause LV dysfunction in EMS. Physical finding and its correlation with hemodynamics. Pulse is low volume due to decreased cardiac output state. JVP is mean elevated in JVP due to RV failure. Prominent AVM in pulmonary arterial hypertension. Absent AVM in atrial fibrillation. On palpation, apical pulse is inconspicuous due to RV hypertrophy. Tapping S1 is observed. RV apex is extreme RVH. There is left parasternal leak observed due to right ventricular hypertrophy. There is palpable due to pulmonary hypertension. Coming to mechanism of loud S1, there are mainly two mechanisms. There is mitral valve closes at higher dP by dt of LV, and we can see in this photo. In severe stenosis, there is a closing of mitral valve at the higher pressure value, so that in closure, LV pressure cross or occurs at higher LV gradient. So rapidity of pressure rise in LV contribute to closing of mitral valve at which produce loud S1. And second is wide closing of exposition of leaflets. Persistent LV gradient in late diastole keeps valve open at higher position and into late diastole. Increases distance that transfer during closing motion contributes to loud S1. Quality of wall and tissue may affect amplitude of the sound. So the soft S1 and decrease in intensity of OS in severe MS observed in the following condition. Although MS is severe, there can be soft S1 in this condition, so that in mitral valve calcification, severe PH, reduced cardiac output, CCF, reduced cardiac output, large RV, AS reduced, in AS we will reduce LV compliance, in AR, in predominant MR and LV dysfunction. In all these conditions we get soft S1 even though patient has severe mitral stenosis. Other heart sounds. S2, there is loud P2 due to pulmonary hypertension. There can be narrow split or reverse splitting of second heart sound due to increased pulmonary artery hypertension and severe PH. RVS4 can be present in right ventricular failure, but LVS3 and LVS4 almost rule out significant MS. In some cases, very rarely S3 can be heard, but S4 can never be heard in mitral stenosis. Coming to A2OS interval, what is opening snap?
So the condition in MS where you will have S4, S3 as well.
S4 sir, never sir. In S3 with significant MR sir, we can add S3.
So this has to be mentioned.
Yes.
If it is S4, you cannot rule out significant MR, but probable simultaneous occurrence of MR.
Yes. Opening snap, sir. Sudden opening of thecal wall at high LV by LA. pressure crossflow. Sudden tensing of wall plate after the wall cusps have completed their opening extrusion. Movement of mitral domain to LV suddenly stops. Follows LA-LV pressure crossflow in early diastole by 20 to 40 milliseconds. At this point, opening snap occurs when there is opening of mitral wall at higher pressure. Same mechanism as loudest. A2OS interval normally ranges from 40 to 120 milliseconds. As LA pressure rises, the crossflow of LA-LV pressure occurs earlier. LV opening motion begins earlier, so A2OS snap interval shortens. Narrow A2OS snap interval less than 80 observed in severe mitral stenosis. Short A2OS interval shows the disease is very severe, so that we can observe it in severe MS, tachycardia associated with MR with higher LA pressure, MV mitral valve opens earlier. Long A2OS interval in severe MS can also be there in the condition where there is ER, mitral valve calcification, AR systemic hypertension, old age, LV dysfunction, and due to low LA pressure in large compliant age. In AF shorter cycle length, LA pressure remains elevated, so A2OS narrows. Coming to murmur in diastolic, murmur in EMS.
A2OS will be narrow or it will be variable?
Sir?
A2OS will be narrow in AF or it will be variable?
It's a variable.
So variable. Why narrow?
It's shorter cycles.
Yeah, but some of the pulse will come afterwards. It may not be always narrow.
Yes. It's a variable.
So whole
It's like a variable A2OS. Diastolic murmur of MS. There are two components of murmur. Early diastolic component that begins with opening snap when the isovolumetric LV pressure falls below LA pressure, and there is a late diastolic component increasing LA-LV pressure gradient due to atrial systole. Persistent of LA-LV gradient up to late diastolic severe MS. Closing exclusion of mitral valve produces decreasing orifice area. Velocity of flow increases as wall orifice narrows. This causes turbulence to produce pre-systolic accentuation of murmur. Duration of murmur correlates with the severity, not the intensity of murmur. The longer the duration, more the severe disease. Murmur persists as long as transmittal gradient is above 3 mm of mercury. Mild MS murmur occurs in early diastole or there is pre-systole crescendo pattern. Both murmurs present with gap between components. In moderate to severe MS, murmurs start with opening snap and persist up to S1. This is like whole diastole, there will be murmur. Pre-systolic accentuation of murmur, atrial contraction in patient with sinus rhythm contribute to pre-systolic accentuation. Reduction in mitral valve orifice by LV contraction. Increased velocity of flow as long as there is pressure gradient in LA-LV. Persistence of pre-systolic accentuation in AF in severe MS. Coming to mitral gradient is directly proportional to cardiac output and inversely proportional to diastolic filling gradient mitral valve area. Yes. So there are various factors which cause decrease and increase in gradient, so that the intensity of murmur increase according to that. Factor decreasing the gradient are decreased cardiac output. There is due to second stenosis RV failure. There is an increase in diastolic filling due to slow heart rate and increase in mitral wall area. All these conditions cause decrease in gradient, and factors increasing the gradient increase cardiac output, exertion, emotion, high output stage, decrease in diastolic filling as cases in as seen in increase in heart rate of tachycardia, decrease in MV as progression of disease or thrombosis. In this condition we can get and this same condition can decrease in intensity of diastolic murmur of MS. Say the condition which decrease the gradient can cause a decrease in intensity of diastolic murmur of MS. When disease progress, there is a dilation of left atrium and there is stretching of left atrium which can cause atrial fibrillation. So in this there are change in physiology and clinical presentation. This slide shows that changes in atrial fibrillation. There is a variable intensity of S1. There is S2 is insignificant in atrial fibrillation. Opening intermittent and variable. A2S interval is variable. MDM is variable directly related to flowing cycle length. Pre-systolic murmur present in all. Pre-systolic accentuation, which actually due to atrial contraction, it disappears in atrial fibrillation. S2, S4 almost never heard in atrial fibrillation. So that coming to clinical presentation, due to raised LA pressure, there is dyspnea, orthopnea, PND. Due to LA stasis, there is a atrial fibrillation. Due to LA enlargement, there is palpitation and systemic embolization of thrombus in enlarged LA. In pulmonary hypertension, there are low cardiac output syndrome. RV failure, there are peripheral congestion or edema. Rapid heart rate, poorly tolerance can be there. Other symptoms like the spacer. In all this, one specific symptom I like to mention is angina. Angina is very less common in mitral stenosis. Coming to only 10 to 15 presentation of the patient with mitral stenosis present with angina. What will be the cause of that angina? That can be severe PH and RV hypertension and concomitant CAD. And this is the low output state also. There is a normal there is coronary blood flow not affected in severe mitral stenosis cases also.
Why?
Because the diastolic pressure is normal, sir. Only affecting systolic pressure is affecting mitral stenosis.
Just a minute.
Yes, sir.
In good old days, first symptom that we used to come across, young girl or boy, we go to the PT, slight increase in heart rate, and they come up with this.
Yes, sir.
Anything that increases the
Heart rate, sir.
increases the symptom. Like the first symptom even before anything comes.
Yes.
And that is where we used to suspect.
Yes, mitral stenosis patients are asymptomatic when their heart rate is controlled. Sir.
One more thing that all this has discussed, but we have given thought on, suppose you have a clot in the left ventricle.
Yes.
And what will be changing the symptoms and signs later on.
Yes.
You have a clot in the left ventricle.
Yes, sir.
सब कुछ बदल जाएगा.
Yes, sir.
कुछ
और physiology will change, sir. Yes.
what changes?
Coming to X-ray and echocardiographic findings of MS. This is the case X-ray of isolated mitral stenosis and this is X-ray of severe mitral stenosis with MR. Literature says that cardiomegaly is almost never presentation of isolated mitral stenosis. You have to have concomitant MR or second heart lesions for developing a cardiomegaly. XLGS in mitral stenosis, there is a straightening of left border of heart. There is a loss of aortic window due to low output state. There is a there is double contour of right side of heart border due to enlarged LA and LV. There are both borders can be visible. They can be double. It's called a double inside. And there are also secondary congestion changes in cardiac output. There are several characteristic signs including a prominent pulmonary vasculature in hilum that can be seen at 7 number. There is a small aortic knuckle due to decreased flow in aorta, enlargement of right ventricle due to back pressure is severe PH. There can be cephalization of pulmonary vasculature, Tarlicki lines, and there is reticular pattern observed in basis secondary to interlobular and septal thickening. Coming to lateral X-ray, there is a posterior enlargement of VLA which causes esophageal displacement and right ventricular enlargement causes obliteration of retrosternal angle. This 6 number and 5 number.
What is Beck's wing sign?
Sorry, sir.
Beck's wing sign.
It's of acute epilepsy, para-enlarged.
Acute epilepsy, is that it has to be acute?
Pulmonary edema.
It has to be acute only?
Please.
Or this can be also done?
This can be also there is failure patient. There is a para increase.
What is Orton's syndrome?
ASD with severe MS. It's a congenital disease.
Sabse bole through. What is Lutem-Becker syndrome then?
It's a congenital MS. Sorry, sir. Lutem-Becker's ASD with severe MS.
So what is Orton's?
Orton is a laryngeal.
That displacement and pressure over esophagus by enlarged LA causing to dysphagia
Yes.
or regurgitation is ordinance.
Yes.
And what is there on right hand column? You said double shadow.
This enlarged left atrium, sir.
So that out one is you say out one is left and left atrium.
Sir. And the right normal heart rate formed by
January. Sorry, middle.
The outer one is right atrium, right?
So how to define what is R and what is L? So LA does not go beyond that, RA. Is it like that? Then how you can determine what is RA and what is LA? So there are two shadows. One is this. One is this. One is this. So what is this? RA or LA?
This is RS.
Why? I said this is LA. Prove me wrong. At least 1 or 2 points. So you are right, this is RA. If you look at the diaphragm, if it makes a blunt angle, that is RA. This makes a sharp angle with this, like 10 or 20 degree. Whatever makes a lesser angle, that is LA. Sometimes in severe MS in burnt out cases, this LA will go beyond RA and then it will make a blunt angle, sharp angle from that side. So whatever makes lesser angle, that is LA, and whatever makes higher angle, that is RA. So this is definitely outer one is RA, inner one is LA. But maybe I try to find out that X-ray I wrote some in that LA is beyond RA also. So that's why how you make out LA and RA. What is on left part? Top to one.
this is the aortic knuckle, sir. There is a decreased contour of aortic knuckle. This is technique of left body.
Is there any importance in making out LA or RA on X-ray?
Yes.
Exam.
Severity.
Passing exam.
Passing exam.
You can judge severity only.
It will give you severity.
Academic,
If LA crosses beyond RA.
academically and passing out
These
exam.
are our MD and DF questions.
But nowadays echo is replacing X-ray. So when you have echo probe, and nowadays echo probe is available everywhere. So many times whatever people are doing, they don't even get X-ray directly. So but for exam purpose, yes, this is necessary, and to looking at the severity, particularly when we are treating mitral stenosis without any intervention medically, then X-ray will help you in follow-ups. Serial X-ray.
And the first thing that we used to encounter in nowadays, 85, 90s, straight bottom.
Straight bottom.
First thing to come, and if you pick up over there, you have picked the diagnosis.
Yes. True.
I recollect that I had a patient with severe bronchial
True.
45, 50 years age. In a hurried consultation, I missed the cardiac murmur. Then immediately after 5 minutes, I got the X-ray in my hand. I re-examined. I got everything.
And these diastolic murmurs are very easy to miss. Because it is diastolic. Systolic murmur nobody
Severe
knows.
bronchi going on, severe.
Yes.
So, and then when we pick up that thing, at the age of 45, 50, she had moved with many n number of consultants at there. Then you get that feel,
True.
See,
So,
all
left body-
examiners can finish your long case on X-ray.
X-ray, yes.
Just on X-ray.
It can, there is many things are there in this X-ray.
It's enough to fail you.
Even liver or diaphragm is also.
Right? Here almost both bones are almost at same level.
Same level.
Again, a different story altogether.
Yes. Very good.
Echocardiography in mitral stenosis. There are thickened and calcified mitral leaflets, and there is thickened subvalvular apparatus. There is a hockey stick side of antral mitral leaflet in diastole, log axis. There is fish mouth orifice in short axis. There is immobility of posterior leaflet. Increased left atrial size. There is small left ventricle. First image shows the mild leaflet thickening, which is only at the peaks. Which in this when disease progress, there is a moderate thickening of leaflets in parasternal long axis. This is a short axis view showing bicommissural fusion of AML and BML with reduced wall area. Now this image shows hockey stick side. There is a clear zone and rough zone with
There are too many things on to other things. Like you should tell me. Okay, Bhagesh.
First image there is a 3D transfer of figure echocardiography showing fusion of EML and PML, same the pathological specimen with reduced mitral area. This is apical force chamber showing the calcification of mitral wall, and there is stiff papillary muscle with papillary muscle calcification also. In this diagram shows the disease pathogenesis, so that there are there are two zones in mitral wall effect. There is one is free clear zone and second is rough zone. This is a rough zone which gives appearance like hockey stick side. And this is a left annular calcification. We can see calcification at the level of mitral walls.
Is this just a valvular calcification or something else?
Annular calcification.
So, no, annular
Annular
calcification.
calcification.
Meditation check calcified old.
No, that is calcium. Annular calcification is like a pinpoint calcium. Similarly, calcium is something else is also there.
Anything in the body
Hmm?
can raise too much and back.
No, that is because of mitral stenosis. So maybe there is a calcium, maybe there is vegetation also possible.
So, next.
In MOD echocardiography, there is a reduced mitral
Only
area.
A1, A2, A3 and P1, P2, P3. Is that right? Valva
Segments of.
segments like here. Huh?
Sorry, sir, I can't write.
You haven't described those?
No, sir.
I think you should, right? TEE करो शो आपने? Then how you will going to describe an anatomy of mitral valve without A1, A2, A3, P1, P2, P3?
Yes. In MOD echocardiography, there is a reduced EF slope. So that slope less than 15 mm correspond to mitral area less than 1.3 centimeter square, and slope more than 35 millimeter correspond to mitral area more than 1.8 centimeter square. It is low sensitivity and specificity. There is a diastolic anterior motion of posterior mitral leaflet. There is absence of A wave in mitral in M mode. First image shows normal M mode, which is anterior mitral leaflet in M pattern and posterior mitral leaflet moves in W pattern. In mitral stenosis, there is anterior movement of posterior mitral leaflet, and there is a these both leaflets are parallel to each other. There is no W or M pattern can be observed. When patient is in AF, there is a loss of E wave. E wave can't be there in AF patients. Calculation of mitral area. Mitral wall area can be calculated with. There are four methods of calculating mitral wall area. This is first Brolin's equation. In which mitral wall area calculated according to gradient across the mitral wall button. We calculate mitral wall gradient according to VTI method. We take the trace of gradient and automatically gradient is there. In this condition, there is a mean gradient about 2.5, peak gradient is 8.2, and peak velocity is 1.4. This is a case of mitral stenosis. And according to this gradient, mitral stenosis can be classified in mild, moderate, severe. Second way of calculating mitral wall area is calorimetry. It is a direct visual calculation of mitral wall area through short axis view. Advantage is to use pathologic correlation can be there unaffected by MR and ER. Limitation, it may not image true orifice. Gain and angulations problem can be there. Calcification, prior chemistology, it is not helpful. This slide shows calculation of mitral wall area by planimetry methods. There is also pressure half time and DT method for calculation of mitral wall area. Pressure half time is defined as the time interval in milliseconds between the maximum mitral gradient in early diastole and the time point where the gradient is half the maximum initial value. A normal gradient is 40 to 70 normal time is 40 to 70, mild AS it is 70 to 150, moderate is 150 to 200, in severe MS it is more than 200. It also can calculated as a diastolic time. So there is a relation between pressure of time and diastolic time. Pressure of time is equal to 0.29 into diastolic time. The same. How to calculate pressure of time? There are two methods: direct measurements and line drawing methods. We have to take trace of gradient. There are select 2 points. One is at peak and second is at midpoint of this gradient. And automatically metal value can calculate after that. Second, in pressure of time can be confusion in case of AF, so that in the AF there are short cycle and long cycle. In this condition, we have to measure pressure of time in the long cycle of AF, or there can be second thing also. We have to take average of 4 to 5 cycles of AF to calculate the mitral valve area. Advantage of pressure of time: easy to obtain, non-affected by cardiac output and mitral regurgitation. Pitfalls are affected by gradient between LA and LE. Rate of rise of ventricular diastolic pressure will increase in poorly compliant LE. Shorten the pressure of time, which overestimate the mitral valve area. Elevation of left ventricular and diastolic pressure due to significant ER or diastolic dysfunction, which alters pressure of time. Post balloon mitral valvulotomy, it is not accurate. Third method is MVA by PISA method, which calculate area on the radius of convergence hemisphere and aligning velocities. The advantage is independent from flow condition, but disadvantage is technically difficult. And fourth method of calculating MVA is continuity equation. The basic mechanism is, in absence of valvular regurgitation or intracardiation, the amount of blood flow across mitral valve equals the amount of blood flow across aortic valve, so that the blood flow across mitral valve and aortic valve are equal. So in this equation we can find out mitral valve area. This is the continuity equation, mitral stroke volume.
Provided continuity equation you can apply to every patient.
No, sir.
In the
In
absence
cases
of value,
ER,
basically.
ER or AS we can't apply, sir, in the condition of ABS we can say. Continuity, the mitral valve stroke volume, this is the mitral valve area in mitral valve VTA is equal to aortic stroke volume, the LVOT diameter, LVOT VTA. According to this we can calculate mitral valve area. The advantage is not affected by transmitral gradient, is more accurate than PST, but disadvantage is in presence of ER and MR, we can't calculate. Coming to management of this condition, there are we categorize this patient in 4 stages: risk of MS, progressive MS, asymptomatic severe MS, and symptomatic severe MS. The stage A and B we don't have to manage; we just have to observe. Protocol: only symptomatic stage D patient we have to consider for interventions. In the asymptomatic stage C patient, when there is pliable wall, no clot, less than 2 mR, which PA pressure, pulmonary systolic pressure more than 50, we have to consider from balloon mitral valve, or if there is new AF, we have to consider for PVMC. It is a level 2B indication. Coming to what to do in this condition, either intervention or surgery. Almost whenever possible, intervention is always preferred over surgery in mitral valve stenosis. Intervention, first we have to manage medicine, diabetes, beta load, DOs, and anticoagulant according to active condition. Later on, PTMC and DAB can be option. In surgery, there is a closed mitral commissurotomy, open mitral commissurotomy, mitral valve replacement, and metallic bioprosthesis. For intervention, percutaneous balloon mitral valvulotomy, we have to consider Wilkins score. If the score is less than 8, then it is a favorable morphology for PBM. The Wilkins score consists of mobility, thickening, caudal involvement, and calcification. Each have 4 points. Total 16 points can be there. So, percutaneous balloon mitral valvulotomy. If these 3 conditions satisfied, we can do PBM. Favorable wall morphology suggested by Wilkins score less than 8. there is no or my name are less than 2 grades, and there is no LH thrombus. In this condition, we can balloon microorganism. One thing I like to mention specifically that there is indication that no LH thrombus. There are literature and conditions show that if there is LH appendigeal thrombus also, they have done intervention with this procedure. They have done balloon microorganism. Thank you.
You did not mention ECG. No criteria.
Yes, ECG. I am not mentioning. On left atrial enlargement.
What is the incidence of mitral stenosis these days? Last 10 years has it changed?
Due to increased socioeconomic status, is come wise.
You see less number
Very
than
less. Yes.
what we used to see.
What are current recommendations for prophylaxis of acute rheumatic fever? To what age we are living?
According to latest WHO guidelines, is 5 years in recently diagnosed
Recently diagnosed of what?
rheumatic fevers, acute rheumatic fevers.
इंडिया में कितने एज तक देना है?
21 years.
देख लेना, नेक्स्ट टाइम बताना। मुझे पता नहीं है, आप अपडेट कुछ आया हो 10-12 साल पहले पढ़ते थे।
नहीं हुआ है लास्ट 4 साल पहले कुछ अपडेट हुआ है
Last
नंबर एक्चुअली हुआ है।
PBMT should be in pregnancy.
Yes.
Usually. Surgery should be avoided.
Secondary pregnancy है, but second trimester some of surgeons prefer to operate, and even BMB can be done in second trimester, not in first, third also preferably everyone avoids.
BMB has changed the signal.
Yes.
So what is the usual age of presentation of mitral stenosis in India, and what's the difference in Western world?
India presentation is very early, 12 years. In Western countries, more than 18 years.
We used to have juvenile.
Juvenile mitral stenosis.
What's
Juvenile
the-
very uncommon in patient.
What's the reason behind it? Why? Did you first year no? Why mitral stenosis presentation is very early in India compared to Western countries? Single episode or recurrence? Single episode. Ronak?
Poverty.
Sir, 2021st we have this DMD student teaching program. So whoever has time, please do come. And that is all case presentations. 21st Sunday from morning 8:30 or 9 o'clock to evening 7 o'clock. Throughout the day case presentations. And we
Who is
will
presenting case and who are the faculty?
all over India students are coming. I have already registered nearly 30 students till now.
It's an online event.
No, this is live event, not online.
Yeah.
Yes, here on this one. And examiners are Dr. Vijayalakshmi madam from Bangalore, Dr. Prabhavati madam from Bangalore, Bhaveshwar Yukta from Mumbai, maybe one more from Delhi which is not yet confirmed. So there are 3-4 national examiners, and then Kamal
When
Sharma
is it
sir-
starting?
Sir,
When it's starting?
it is starting on Saturday evening around 4 o'clock, but Saturday there is only discussion about interesting cases. There are no case presentations live. And Sunday throughout the day there are case presentations.
Next Sunday.
2021st. Next is 14-15 in a budget.
Can you share the details?
हाँ, we will share.
And you will allow us to come and go.
Yes, everyone will allowed.
Then you allowed to come and go.
Yes, yes.